Alright, so it's also been a while since I've done kind of one of these things. Just kind of, well, just kind of what this is right here is a really quick kind of introduction to a team that I made for UU. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a few battles after this as well, so it's not just the team analysis, I suppose, but I did kind of want to do this because I made this team kind of as a, well, not kind of, I made this team exclusively to be a joke, and then I brought it into UU, and I had a lot of fun with it. It actually wasn't that bad at all. It was really, really fun, and what it is it's a full hail team, and it's not like I suppose some people might expect a full hail team to be, is a UU team with an Abomasnow slapped onto it. But no, it's actually like pretty close at least to almost a full hail team. It's really fun. It's UU, and it's actually not as bad as I kind of expected it would be. Kind of one of the interesting things is I only have 2 rock weaknesses on this team, so it's not like mono ice where you have 6 rock weaknesses and whatever their rock type is just 6-0s you by after they set up stealth rocks and all that fun stuff. It's actually really fun. The type synergy is a lot better than I expected I'd be able to make it with like 3 ice types, but no, it's really fun. So I guess I'll go over it. Of course, we've got the Mega as Abomasnow, as we kind of went over. Now it's especially defensive because Abomasnow it's actually got pretty good bulk. So I don't know. This thing is meant to be living as long as I can get it to live, because I'm going to be switching in to set up the hail as much as I can. So I made it especially defensive. It's going to be nice because it can take like electric hits. It can take what's it called? Water. It's a good scald switch in, especially since that we're running especially offensive instead of physically offensive. Well, I guess we're not really invested in either. Anyways, but our moveset is more geared towards being especially offensive, I suppose is the way to say it. Yeah, it's just for the longevity of it. Blizzard, of course, it's 100% accurate. It's kind of nice thing. Giga Drain is nice for recovery. Ice Shard's kind of nice for priority. Ice is always pretty nice stab. The only move that I'm kind of lacking and kind of wish I had was Hidden Power Fire, but I did want these 4 moves for what I was using. I don't know, I might change it later. And of course, and the last move we're using is Leech Seed. It's nice because this lets me 1v1 a lot of really bulky things, because it's kind of interesting to mention that kind of Hail lets you gimp a lot of people's recovery. So things like Cresselia, Moonlight is going to be reduced to 25%, so with Moonlight being only 25% recovery, and then with Leech Seed, and then Giga Drain, and then Hail damage, all hitting kind of Cresselia at once, you'll kind of be able to 1v1 stuff. So it's just kind of nice with stuff like the Hail being able to gimp some recoveries in that sense. You can just use Leech Seed to kind of increase your recovery, and then just keep using Giga Drain. I don't know, it's kind of nice. It's also kind of nice to hit fire types on the switch in with Leech Seed, and then you can go into something else and take the fire hit while giving you a bit of health back, because I don't really have recovery on really anything on this team, so Leech Seed is chosen over HP Fire because it's kind of nice to like perform kind of a pseudo wish pass into some of these things, because it's the things I'm going to be switching into to take hits from that would be geared at Abomasnow are definitely appreciate the recovery. That being said, Fizz Death, Tentacruel is the next thing to go over. Speed is for Adamant Honchcrow and all the below. It's kind of nice because Honchcrow is really it's kind of a threat in the tier. It's kind of a threat to my team, you'll notice, because I don't have a flying resist, that's always fun, I suppose, as well. Rapid Spin, this is my spinner. I was gonna use like Flygon with Defog here, but because I'm like, hey, I've got a Hail T, I've got Ice types, I gotta get rid of those hazards. And then I realized I really have 2 rock pieces, so Tentacruel has been sufficing for that. Scald, and I'm using Toxic Spikes. It gives pretty good coverage all around. I'm missing Sludge Bomb and stuff like that, but it's not too bad. And then the last move I'm going with is Hail, just to be able to set it up. the last move isn't really too huge to miss. I'd probably be running something like Acid Spray for, but my team isn't really that weak to Crocune anyway. I might just be running Sludge Bomb, but I do have a nice other poison type in the back, so the last move that I was just missing is Hail, and it's not really too big of an issue to be missing a the fourth move. And of course we're physically defensive, so we can switch in a little bit better on things like Darmanitan. Hopefully, Darmanitan is so good. Darmanitan is really good against this team as well. But I mean, the nice thing about having using this on the team that I'm using, being a Hail team, is Darmanitan is already kind of put on a timer with Flare Blitz, so every time it has to switch into every time it goes for Flare Blitz, it's going to be taking recoil. It's also going to be taking hail damage, so it gets worn. Fire types that like to spam Flare Blitz get really worn down against this team really quickly. Stuff like Entei, not Entei, what am I saying? Entei's broken, yeah, Entei just 6-0s every game. Stuff like Arcanine, sorry, is what I was trying to say. They kind of get worn down with if they're defensive. Worth mentioning, Morning Sun is also gimped in Hail, as well as a lot of my things being geared to outspeed Arcanine, both defensively, some defensively, some offensively. So this is just a set. Because I am running Spinner, I feel like more hazards is justified. And my only other hazard setter is on kind of offensive ball, so Toxic Spikes is very nice to have as a backup. Kind of the star of the team. Moveset is not 100% ready, to be honest with you. I've tried a whole bunch of different options with the moveset for Frostlass. It's really fun. It's the Snow Cloak Pokemon. When I first tried, I used Bright Powder because, like I said, I made this team to have fun. So I used Bright Powder, Substitute, and I think I used like Pain Split as the last move, and it was still good. It was really fun. I liked it. But I kind of wanted to try a sub-disable set, just because this Frostlass on this team is kind of meant to be a kind of a decent spin blocker to a few things. So it can spin block other Tentacruels, can spin block Fortress, but only if it's the sub-disable set, because Fortress has Gyro Ball, this has Scald, but that's about it. You can sub up on like Sludge Bomb or Acid Spray from other Tentacruels, which is quite nice. And then if they set up Toxic Spikes, I do have easy ways to just get rid of them without it being an issue, because I have two poison types. Running Shadow Ball and Blizzard. It's dual stab. Blizzard hits really hard, and it's 100% accurate, like I said, in the hail. Substitute is nice to spam in the hail, because we're gonna get that dodge, which is always nice. But no, substitute is just, I don't know. I have this like disease where I can't make a Pokemon team without having something to say substitute on my team. Substitute's like the best move in the game. I love just having something with substitute on the team. So sub-disable, like I said, it actually beats a decent amount of things in the tier. Sub-disable Frostlass has never really been a thing. Sub-disable Gengar used to be a really good thing back in the day. I think back in Black and White, and I think early X and Y. Although it wasn't really that common in X and Y from what I could see. It might have been common, I just didn't see it, but it wasn't really insanely common. I think there was a few people still running it, me being one of them. I loved sub-disable Haunter in X and Y, so it wasn't really very common, and Frostlass was never very common as a sub-disable thing. I don't think it's ever been used as a sub-disable mon, but from the things that I was looking at on my team, it beats a lot of things that I want it to beat. A few more kind of notable mentions that it can potentially beat is Toxicroak, because most Toxicroak sets like to run like Gunk Shot, Drain Punch, and then if they're Swords Dance, then they'd only have one real move to hit you, be Ice Punch or Sucker Punch. And if it's not not Swords Dance, and it's just like some like 4 attack set. I've seen Assault Vest Toxicroak, and I've used Assault Vest Toxicroak before, and I really like it. It's really fun. But if it's 4 attack Croak, they're going to be Dual Stab, which of course is not going to be doing too much to you. Ice Punch, which you do resist. and Sucker Punch or Knockoff, which again you can sub-disable on. It's quite nice. Oh, and the bird, scary bird, that disgustingly scary bird that everyone hates. Not everyone hates, that I hate. Honchkrow. You can sub-disable Honchkrow decently well, which is, of course, always nice to be able to do. Because if you disable Sucker Punch, then you can just outspeed in Blizzard. If you disable Brave Bird, then you can substitute on them, because the only move they can really go for is, at that point, is Sucker Punch, and you'll be able to substitute quite freely on that. Because they usually carry like Close Combat, Brave Bird, Sucker Punch, and then kind of one extra move. I've seen Substitute Honchkrow, I've seen Roost Honchkrow, I've seen Defog on teams that are hyper offense but kind of need a backup Defog. Although Heat Wave is kind of a thing, it's not really that common, I don't think. I mean, because Fortress doesn't really take 2 Brave Birds anyway, so I mean, it's just kind of nice for a lot of Honchkrow players to have another kind of a better move than Heat Wave, but I would not be surprised to go against a Heat Wave one, because they are common, but like I said, it's just there are other moves that they have as options as well. So that's the kind of the start of the team. Leftovers, because I like using a lot of substitute sets. I really like using leftovers. The only other option was Life Orb, and I think, like I said, the first time was Bright Powder sub Pain Split, but I think I changed it later to Life Orb sub Pain Split, and it worked kind of fun. But like I said, I'm trying to use this a bit more seriously now, so this is the set that I'm kind of sticking with. The next kind of star on the team is Mamoswine, and while Mamoswine doesn't really, it doesn't look initially like it really benefits from the hail, it kind of does. It gets Snow Cloak as well, which is kind of nice. I've dodged attacks from Beedrill and have been able to kill it, which is kind of funny. I think what happened was I had Mamo in on Beedrill, and I went for hail on the Protect, and then I was able to 2-hit kill with I went for Ice Shard, and then he missed his attack, and then I finished off with Ice Shard, which was, I don't know, it was kind of funny. Like, it's the thing with Mamoswine is his other 2 abilities. I mean, Oblivious is nice for lead, sash. Thick Fat is, of course, just always nice to add your resistances, because you've got a really nice HP stat and a pretty good defense stat, and this special defense is just kind of backed up by a good HP stat. So Thick Fat is definitely a really good option for it, but I do have Ice Resists, I do have Fire Resists. You could always use more of each, but just the fact that sometimes you can dodge, that can definitely make it like very, very game changing. You're not really losing an item over it, although we are using Icy Rock, to be honest, so I mean, it's not as if we really have that much of an item in the first place, but you aren't really losing it. It's not like I'm just slapping Bright Powder on. It's not like it's just, a item that's very, very possibly never going to be used. It is just an ability. Like I said, that the lack of Thick Fat is kind of disappointing, especially for a team with a lot of fire weaknesses and a lot of ice weaknesses, which is kind of interesting to have on a team that's a lot of ice Pokemon. But it is kind of nice. It is kind of a little bit of a gimmick, but I really don't think it's that much of a gimmick. And with Hail being up pretty often, because we do have 3 setters, it is kind of nice to have some Snowcloak. It is kind of nice to have Hail be up for, have an option to have Hail up for 8 turns instead. And of course, Mamoswine is just so offensive that it does force quite enough switches that you can go for the Hail, which is kind of nice. EQ Icicle Crash, Mamoswine is so good because of its coverage moves, not coverage moves, its stab moves, and its ability to switch between its stab moves is really, really nice. Ice Shard, we have 2 forms of priority, being this and this, both being Ice Shard. Ice is a really good typing, so it's a really good typing anyway. But yeah, priority is kind of nice on this team because it's a little bit lacking speed. And I'm running Adamant because most Honchkrows run Adamant, so that's, I guess, a thing. I might change this to I might change it to Jolly, But like even the majority of like things I'd be outspeeding, the majority of them run adamant anyway. Like Swampert generally runs adamant. What's it called? Honchcrow generally runs adamant. A lot of things that I'd be outspeeding with Jolly, I'm generally faster with anyway. I lose out on speed tying with Chandelure, but I have a very good switch into Chandelure, and risking speed ties aren't really very good, and Chandelure usually carries Scarf, so it's not even that worth it anyway. Next thing is Nidoqueen. The electric resists are kind of redundant at this point because I've got so many electric resists. It is kind of nice for the one weakness, but I don't know. This is it's just the typing was really good for the team. It's got the what am I trying to say? It's got the fighting resists. It's got a lot of, like I said, it's just got a lot of. It's very beneficial to the team for what it kind of can do, both typing defensively and offensively. Speed is outspeed. It outspeeds Honchcrow, like I was going over. I'm pretty sure it's Adamant Honchcrow that it outspeeds. It outspeeds base 100, things that are like uninvested, so it's going to be outspeeding bulky Arcanine, which, like I said, if it's bulky, it can take on a lot of things on the team. If it's offensive, it'll get worn down quite quickly, I think. But no, it's really, this thing is really good. It's a Sheer Force Life Orb. It is offensive. Pretty much fully offensive, with just a little bit of HP, because that's all we really need to outspeed. It is modest as well, very powerful. Earth Power Sludge Wave, Dual Stab is, I always appreciated this thing. I never like using Nidoqueen without Dual Stab. Sludge Wave is a really good offensive type, especially in the tier. A lot of people just run Earth Power and Ice Beam and forego Poison coverage, but I don't know, it's really nice to have. It's also really nice to hit Fairy types, which, like, in theory can take hits from a lot of things on the team, stuff like Florges. It's really good. I don't know, the typing is really good. Dual Stab is really good. Blizzard's really good as well because when the hail's up, of course, it's 100% accurate, and it's not always really too needed to go for when you've got these two things that these Earth Power and Sludge Wave cover so many types anyway, so you don't always need to go for Blizzard, especially if the hail is not up, because you can go for stuff like Sludge Wave and Earth Power. But of course, Blizzard is nice to hit things that you can't with these otherwise, stuff like Crobat. It's nice to hit things, well, yeah, sorry, I don't remember what I was trying to say. Stuff like, stuff that don't take super effective damage from these two, you can hit a bit harder, like grass poison types like Venusaur or Roserade. I mean, they don't particularly like taking these anyway, but Blizzard's nice to hit those a little bit harder, of course, and it goes along kind of with the gimmick of having a hail team, and from what I've seen so far, it's not too hard to keep hail up pretty much at all times, so it's worth foregoing Ice Beam to have the extra power for it. And of course, this is my Stealth Rocker. It's not the most bulky thing in the world, because we're not really invested. 90, 87, 85 defenses are. They're really good actually, for especially uninvested. That's a really good thing. The last thing is, I did want to Scarfer because the team's a bit slow. My only forms of priority are Ice Shard, and it is on 2 mons, but it is only 1 attack, basically. So I do have Scarf Hydrogen. I seem to have a really hard time landing Draco Meteor with this Pokemon, so I guess we'll see how that goes. But a Dual Stab, it's a set that I just usually like to use in UU. I don't have a way to hit Fairy types with this. We do have the Nidoqueen, and we do have the Tentacruel that can potentially deal with some Fairy types. We also have the Abomasnow that can also potentially deal with stuff like Florges. Depending on the moveset, I mean, Florges can potentially just Wish Protect and completely outstall, but I don't know. I guess against Florges teams, against teams with Florges, I just kind of have to keep Nidoqueen a little bit healthier. U-turn's definitely nice, especially on a Choice Scarfer. It's also nice, because, well, I mean, even though I'm minus attack nature, it's always nice to, it's nice to be able to U-turn kill some psychic types, some grass types. Not from full, obviously. Don't think I'm saying like, yo, he's a grass type, I'm gonna go for U-turn, and it's gonna get an Oko. No, it's just nice to be able to finish off some things that take super effective damage from Bug, which is just kind of nice. It's also nice to be able to U-turn on stuff like Koopa, which is also kind of nice. I think the speed here it's also up to like stuff like Koopa as well. Koopa outspeeds Mamoswine, which is with we're talking adamant versus timid Koopa, so that is a bit disappointing. We do of course have the Ice Shard priority, which is going to do a ton because Koopa's defense is really bad. But because I'm running adamant, I think U-turn is definitely nice to have against Koopa. Yeah, Koopa's really scary as well. That's kind of something to have to kind of watch out for. Fire Blast. I always like running Fire Blast on my Hydreigons because it's nice to hit steel types. You can't hit what's it called? You cannot hit fairy types, as I said, because of running Fire Blast over it. But I like hitting Cobalions. I like hitting Fortress. I like hitting steel types just a little bit more. And I think hitting steel types is a bit more mandatory when we've got the Abomasnow, we've got the Frostlass. Yeah, it's a bit more necessary, I find. I ran into a couple of Magnet Rise Cobalions, and those were a bit surprising, and I mean, they weren't really too hard because they're fully defensive, so they didn't really do too much to the team. I was able to go into this and just take it on, but Magnet Rise Cobalion was kind of took me by surprise once, but yeah, Fire Blast is definitely nice for things like those, and then just Dual Stab is always good, and U-turn. So that's a team. I think I'll include a few. I might do a live with this team just because I'm really enjoying it. And I haven't done a live in a while, so I might as well. But I think I'll include a few replays, I think, with this as well, just to kind of give an idea for the team, and then I might make just a live video after. Alright, so to start off the kind of the battles I have, I've got this team here, and there's a few kind of interesting things that happen, but I guess I'll just start off. So he does lead with the Chandelure, as I am going to lead with the Mamoswine. Wasn't exactly what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting the Swampert, but that's not exactly what happens. But I do have like I said, a quite good switch in with a Hydreigon. That does a ton, so I'm wondering if that's probably specs. I mean, it's not really probably. That's an energy ball, that does a ton, so you know that's enough for that. So I do bring in Nidoqueen. I think this was back when I was running like no speed on my Nidoqueen. And I was able to set up rocks as he goes for Magnet Rise, so I don't really lose a turn right there, which is kind of nice. He's able to get his own rocks up, which pretty much confirms that he's not an offensive set, which is quite nice. And he won't really be having Volt Switch if he's got the Magnet Rise, but I mean that wouldn't really do that much technical. So he does have the Swords Dance here. A lot of people like to go for a Drain Punch on these, so I do stay in, and I set up the Hail here. I stay in this turn because I kind of expect him to go to +6, so this was actually a really bad play on my part, because I really should have been sacking something else, but I kind of expect him to go to +6, because that's what all these players do. But this is when I bring in the counter, and like I said, this is kind of before I changed the team. So this is the Bright Powder sub Pain Split set. And like I said, this was just kind of back when I was playing for fun. So he does land the 2 gunk shots through the Hail, through the Bright Powder, through the Sand Veil, and through the just not very accurate. So obviously this guy is hacking the game, but he is taking that residual Life Orb and Hail. So he does go for the gunk shot there, and it finally misses, which is kind of nice. He's going to bring in the Cobalion, and you know, it takes a lot from Shadow Ball here. I make a misplay here by going for Pain Split, just because I kind of wanted to use the set. Like I said, I was having fun. I kind of thought it would put him in range of Shadow Ball again, but I guess Frostlass's HP isn't that bad as I thought it was, so I don't really gain very much, he doesn't lose very much, and that means he's going to get rocks up, and I don't have a spinner, so kind of unfortunate, but at the very least, we are able to take care of that. He brings in Hydreigon, and of course, you know, it's not going to take that much, but he's not Scarf Hydreigon, so he is going to go down. Because he's not Scarf Hydreigon, it makes me think maybe he is Scarf Chandelure, and I do go for sub here as he goes for the Sucker Punch, which I think was a really good play on his part. He kept Sucker Punch hidden pretty much the whole time, so yeah, that worked out really good for me. And yeah, I think that was a really good play on his part, keeping Sucker Punch hidden that long, because he was at plus like a ton. He was at plus 4, so he could have killed me anyways. Chandler turns out not to be Scarf, so that is, you know, that's nice. I'm able to get a huge chunk of damage off onto it. If it was Scarf, I did have the Hydrogen in the back. I'm going to bring in Mamoswine here and finish it off the Ice Shard, because Mamoswine kind of forces a lot of things to not really come in. Unfortunately, that doesn't really work, because he does bring in the Swampert anyways. Not really afraid of the Freeze Dry anyway, and he goes for the Rain Dance here. He's going for game right now, but the funny thing is, the funny thing about Abomasnow is you can reset the hail up when you Mega Evolve, so that's kind of fun. The nice hard counter to those Swampert Rain teams, am I right? So that's gonna go down. He brings in his Gardevoir. I'm not really sure if this is an offensive Gardevoir or if just Abomasnow's bulk is real, but the Moonblast does a nice clean 30%, and I'm able to get leftovers off. He goes for Wisp. I guess he doesn't, because it misses. And that's, you know, kind of fortunate for me. He of course, it's at this. I guess he sees the Giga Drain. He's like, well, okay, now he's not offensive, so don't really need. Now he's not physical, so no real need to go for the Leech Seed. And yeah, leftovers plus hail it's the leftovers plus the Leech Seed plus the hail plus the Giga Drain is able to do so much, and you know, to take it out. I would have lived to Ice Punch at that range anyway, because I have minus special attack. He actually lives the hit. And style points right here. Go with the Hydreigon on the Earthquake. You know, totally predicted, and you know, I'm immune to that future sight. So that's of course that was quite nice. It's also nice because I would have been able to reset the hail up anyways had he made some godly play. So that was that battle right there. The next battle is kind of the bottom of the ladder that I found. But it was kind of a funny battle anyway, so I did think I'd include it. Like I said, it's not really the best battle, but it is kind of funny. This was back when I was just playing completely for fun. He is going to lead off with his Obstrika, and so I bring in the Abomasnow. Now, of course, he's going for the Overheat. Even if he wants to go to the Volt Switch, that's not really that bad. He gets a crit with the Overheat, which means Hydreigon can only switch in so many times now. Which is, you know, I guess a thing. He brings in the Dark type counter, which is of course the Dusclops. So a bit unfortunate I didn't just go straight for the Dark Balls, but I didn't want to give Absol a justified boost. So, you know, that's always fun anyway. So this is pretty much the best opportunity I'm gonna have to set up Stealth Rocks, so I take it. Flygon doesn't really defog him very much. Okay, we've got like 3 ice types and Blizzard coverage and Scarf Draco, so that's of course always nice. I'm pretty sure this was back when I was defensive, so that's why I did so little to the Dusclops. I'm pretty sure, it could be wrong. Oh yeah, no, I think I'm just bad. That's why I think I went for Sludge Wave expecting like Flygon, but no, that was just a bad play on my part, because if I really wanted to make the real man play, I should have just gone for Blizzard. But yeah, so he is able to kind of 1v1 me with Dusclops, but I did get the Rock Steps. You know, I came out on top on this exchange, which is of course always nice. I'm able to sub up on, you know, because I've pretty much seen his entire moveset, so I'm able to pretty much sub up on there, knowing he's not going to go for a attacking move at that point. So Obstrika is going to come in. I kind of wanted to sub a second time, but I didn't really feel the need to. I felt like I'll just go for Blizzard right here. I didn't think Vaporeon would kind of not really be taking anything anyway from Shadow Ball, so that's always nice. He's going to bring in the Flygon at this point, because I guess he saw the Blizzard, so you know, he was going for that miss. But we don't miss around here, so Zipstrika is going to come back in. I kind of want to save Frostlass because, you know, Frostlass is a pretty fun Pokemon, pretty good Pokemon. Overheat does a nice 25%. But yeah, Hydreigon is the fire my fire type switch-in, so you know, that's always fun. Able to U-turn out on that coming in as we go into President Bush, you know, because it's a bush, it's a snowy bush, you know, always fun. I don't know why I don't Mega Evolve here. I'm pretty sure I wanted to trick him into thinking I was Mega Mamoswine, but of course that doesn't work out for me. Always fun. And Zipstrika is going to go down because, you know, gonna hit him up with that Blizzard. Now Absol's coming in and not really wanting to stay in on that fire move. We do have the Tentacruel specifically for things like this. Yeah, always fun. One of the kind of downsides on this team is the residual damage to stuff like Tentacruel. Pretty much exclusively Tentacruel and Hydreigon, I guess, because it's my kind of initial check to a lot of things. But yeah, that's just kind of one of the big problems with this team. I mean, I'm not going to run safety glasses or anything, but yeah, it's kind of one of the problems to this team. So he's going to set the Wish, I'm going to set the Toxic Spikes. I Scald because I kind of assume he's going to go to Absol at that point, but he doesn't, so that's kind of nice. You know, I'm eventually going to force out the Porygon. I'm eventually going to force out the Vaporeon at some point, so I can just kind of set up at this point because it's not really doing too much to me. I go for Scald because I don't really want him to pass for free into his Absol, which is fair enough. So with the Hail Up, I think I'm in a pretty good situation. I can set up the second layer of Toxic Spikes because well, it means Vaporeon's pretty much dead because I'm going to be able to force it out eventually with a Bomb Snow anyway, so yeah, that's kind of a thing. I go for his Leech Seed here because, well, he's going to kind of get passed up to, he's going to get passed up to full anyways with Absol. I don't think Uninvested Blizzard would kill because, yeah, Absol's kind of good. Absol's got, like, not horrible. Well, I mean, I don't know, maybe from what it was at, it would have. But anyways, I'm going to be able to predict that Flamethrower miss, immaculately. So I am able to go to the Frost Sash. Quite nice. Able to take that Sucker Punch quite easily. He actually ends up hitting the Dark Bolt, so I think this guy is actually hacking the game. So it's a bit unfortunate, but I'm gonna be able to stall kind of the Toxic turns just a little bit here. Yeah, who hits? That's crazy. I've got Bright Powder for a reason. But yeah, that'll be the game. I go for Blizzard for style points right there. Yeah, very nice. Alright, so this was one of my best games that I've had so far. Really cool game. I think I'll slow down so I can kind of explain the thought process. So it's that's pretty much my best game that I've had so far. So got a pretty threatening team. I'm gonna lead off with Mamoswine, kind of wanting to catch that Nidoqueen a little bit or an offensive Arcanine, but he does have the Intimidate Arcanine, so I'm gonna switch out into my my counter as he goes for the Sunny Day. So watch this play right here. I'm gonna hit him up with that Hail, and yeah, as he brings in his Leafeon, Chlorophyll, hoping to go for game right there. And yeah, I think he just had a seizure right there. He got blown back. He's like, oh my god, no, I got counter teamed. The counter team. So yeah, he just he was rushed to the hospital at this point. That's why he had to forfeit. So yeah, definitely my best game I've had so far. It's gonna be hard to top that one. All right, so kind of another kind of fun game I've had here. I'll just go into it, I suppose. I lead with Mamoswine, and he's gonna lead off with I'm gonna lead off with my Bomb Snow, and I set up the Hail. I'm not gonna switch out because this is my quote unquote counter to Mamoswine anyway. Mamoswine's so good. So I just stand in Giga Drain, and I'm able to take that decently well. And after the Giga Drain from the Typhlosion as well, I am able to get pretty close to full. And getting the Giga Drain plus the Hail damage on the Typhlosion was nice. He's able to pretty freely go for extra. Well, I mean, it was kind of a 50-50 whether he had to go for extra sensor or focus blast. So I guess he did get the 50-50 correct, which is of course always nice. Hail is able to break Fortress's Sturdy, which is it's another kind of nice thing to mention about things like Fortress. But there's no reason for me to stay out because this is my pretty much switch into Fortress anyway because it is my spinner. I'm gonna prioritize getting rid of rocks over pretty much anything else. So that's exactly what I do, but I mean, this doesn't beat me, so I can just, like, I would beat him before he beats me, so I am able to just reset up the Toxic Spikes, which is always nice. I don't want to bring in Abomasnow here because Earthquake plus the Godly Iron Head is going to do, well, it's going to do a lot. I go into that on the EQ, and then I double to Frostlass because I don't really want to take an Ice Shard because it is kind of my best switch into something like the fire thing, what's it called, Typhlosion, and of course it's nice to be able to live an Ice Fang from the Sharpedo, so that's why I didn't want to take an Ice Shard. I'm able to get rid of the Fortress at the very least, which is kind of nice. Now I make a bad play and I go into Tentacruel, but it turns out to not be a bad play because he didn't make the good play. He goes straight for the Flamethrower. Yeah, going straight into Tentacruel was a bad play on my part. I really shouldn't have done that, but it's exactly what I did. I guess he expected me not to be an idiot, but you know, we don't make good plays around here, so I am able to get rid of all those hazards, which is just kind of nice. Now, I would have been able to kill the Mamoswine right here, but he does go for the Icicle Crash and flinches me, which is, I mean, it doesn't really matter because it was an over-prediction on his part. If he went for EQ, it wouldn't have really made a difference anyway. And then I bring in my Frostlass here, and he crits me at this point with an Ice Shard, which is 26%. So, you know, what can you do? We are able to bring down that thing at this time. So, the one counter to my entire game to my entire team comes in, that being a Dragon type that I can't stay in on. So he is able to hit me up with that Draco. I take that miss as justice for the flinch and the crit, so I'm able to get rocks up, and that's quite nice, that means Noivern is less of a problem for stuff like that. So Mamoswine's able to come in here. I'm gonna make that play, go for the EQ. I mean, there wasn't really a reason not to. I mean, Icicle Shard would have killed Typhlosion anyway, but it's about style, you know what I'm saying? It's about style. You got a style on them. So Sharpedo comes in. He's gonna go for the Protect, or at least he should go for the Protect, I think, anyways. I guess he doesn't really have to, but I'm able to bring this in on the Protect, and I know I can take any hit unless he's got like Fire Fang or something, which I don't think he should have. So I'm able to guarantee take that hit, and I'm able to take him out the next turn with Giga Drain, which is definitely good, Noivern comes in because, I mean, he saw Giga Drain, he saw Leech Seed, so maybe he might assume that I don't have Ice Shard, but of course I do, and I'm able to take it out with that. I mean, nothing's switching in anyway. As you can see, Moonblast is a crisp 23%, so with stuff like Leftovers, with stuff like Leech Seed and Giga Drain, I should be able to beat it 1v1 in terms of damage output, because yeah, as you can see, that really doesn't do too much, and I can Giga Drain for 10%, and I can Leech Seed for another good amount back, which is quite nice, I'm gonna sack Hydreigon here, because I mean, Hydreigon doesn't touch Forges anyways, so I might as well sack Hydreigon and re-get the Hail up, which is basically was the plan. Just sack that, get the Hail rate back up, and then between Poison, between Leech Seed, and between Hail, he's going to be going down eventually, but it doesn't matter because I am able to take it out with Ice Shard at that point, so that's quite nice as well.